Jai Hind students, welcome to the physics class. I hope all of you are healthy at your home. So train hard, reach further. So let's work hard so that we are able to meet the challenges of the future. Future is uncertain. If our training is hard, definitely we will be able to meet those challenges and we will be able to achieve great heights in the future. So let us start our topic. Our topic is kinematics. So what is the kinematics? Before explaining you the term kinematics, let me explain you four terms, and those four terms are mechanics. Mechanics is the branch of physics which deals with the study of bodies which are in motion. For example, let us say a ball, it falls on the earth, planets are revolving around the earth, everything it can be studied in the mechanics. Now, mechanics is having the three parts. Let us discuss its three parts. First part is statics. Statics mean at rest, and when a body is at rest, we say that total forces acting on the body is zero. It means body is in equilibrium. So you can say statics is that branch of mechanics which deals with the bodies which are at rest, or it is that branch of physics. It is again that, and mechanics is also a branch of physics. So we can say statics, it is that branch of mechanics which deals with the bodies which are in equilibrium. What does the equilibrium mean? Total force acting on the body is zero. And what are the cases when total force acting on the body is zero? You have studied in the grade 9, if a body is moving with the uniform velocity, again total force acting on it is zero, and when the body is at rest, again the total force acting on the body is zero. And second is kinematics. Kinematics means it is that branch of mechanics which deals with the bodies which are in motion without considering the cause of the motion. What is the force responsible for the motion? Which forces are opposing the motion? Why this body is going in this direction? It does not consider those causes. So it is the branch of mechanics which deals with the study of bodies which are in motion without considering the cause of the motion. And the third branch is the dynamics. So dynamics is that branch of mechanics which deals with the study of bodies which are in motion considering the causes of motion. The difference between kinematics and dynamics is that it does not consider the cause of motion, whereas dynamics, it considers the cause of the motion. So let's remain ourselves to the limit ourselves to the kinematics, and after kinematics we will also discuss the dynamics and statics also. So let us discuss these one by one. So first of all, we will discuss the kinematics. Before discussing the kinematics, let's move to very simple terms that we have studied in our grade 9. So those terms are rest and motion. What is the meaning of the term rest and motion? All of you know. Let's say I'm standing here, I'm at rest. What does it mean? It means that I am not changing my position with respect to the surrounding. So what is the meaning of the term rest? A body is at rest if it does not change its position with respect to the surroundings. Alright? For example, you might have seen that the tables in your home, they are at rest. Buildings, they are at rest. Trees, they are at rest. So these are the examples of the bodies which are at rest. Now as far as motion is concerned, a body is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to surrounding. For example, here I am changing my position with respect to the camera, so that's why I am in motion. You will find that I am in motion because I am changing my position. You might have seen a number of objects. For example, let us say a car moving on a road, it's in motion. A flying aeroplane, it's a motion. A flying bird, it's a motion, it's in motion. So what is a motion? A body which changes its position with respect to the surroundings. Now, if I say that rest and motion are relative terms, rest and motion are relative terms. What is the meaning that rest and motion are relative terms? Listen, if I say that rest and motion are relative terms, it means that there is no body in the universe which is absolutely at rest or absolutely in the motion. For example, let us say this is a school bus, and school bus is moving, and let us say students are in the bus. Let us say these 3 students are in the bus, and there is an observer which is on the ground. Let us say this is the observer on the ground. This observer is just standing. So what he will say? He will say, let us say this is observer A, and these students are B, C, D. What he will say? He will say that B, C, D are in motion. And what B will say? He will look at the C. He will say that no, I am at rest. And D will also say that yes, B is at rest. But A is saying B is in motion. So, can you tell me which of them is correct? I think all are correct. Why all are correct? Because the difference is that D is B, C and D, they are in motion with respect to ground, and for them B is not changing the position, whereas B is changing its position with respect to the A. B is not changing position with respect to C and D. So what we will say? We will say that B is at rest, and A will say that B is in motion because B is changing its position. Now if I ask, is your school building is at rest or in motion? You will say it's at rest. But if there is some person who is in the space, for him this earth is moving, and when this earth is moving, school is also on the earth. So that's why for him the school building is also moving. For us, our school is at rest. But for a person who is in the space, for him the school building is in motion. Who is correct? Both are correct. I am also correct. And the person who is in the space, he is also correct. So we can say that rest and motion are the relative terms. Now next concept is important. That concept is of the point object. What is the meaning of the term point object? How can we define point object? Look, a point object is the object whose size is very, very small. So that object is given the name of the point object. Now, but up to what extent it is small? Theory says that the size of the object should be 0. But in actual practice, there is nothing in the universe whose size is 0. So point object is an ideal concept. It only exists in the theory. But as far as we say practically, if we say that, let us say this is the object, you will say that it is not a point object. But if this object covers very large distance which is much larger than its size, what I will say? I will say that this object is the point object. Let me give you an example. Let us say there is a train. The length of the train is 1 kilometer. Train whose length is 1 kilometer. Let us say it moves from the Kashmir to Kanyakumari. It covered thousands of kilometers. Then for me, this train is a point object because it has covered a distance which is much larger than its length. If I say football, if you take football, you won't say that it's a point object. Why? But if I say football is a point object with respect to the playground, when we play football, in that case football covers a huge distance, so you can take that football as a point object. Even if I say earth and sun can be regarded as a point object, how earth and sun can be regarded as a point object? The diameter of the earth, it is of the order of 12,800 kilometer, and about the sun, it is of the order of 1 lakh kilometer, approximately 1 lakh or something near about that. But the separation between earth and sun is 15 crore kilometer. So separation is very large in comparison to their size. So in that case, earth and sun, they can be regarded as the point objects. So in this way, we can say that when an object behaves as a point object. Next topic is frames of reference. Listen, whenever we are discussing motion, even whenever you are specifying the distance, I say how much distance you have covered, what it requires. Let us discuss what it requires. It requires a reference. For example, let us say you are starting from the point O and you are moving on a straight road. You are moving on a straight road and you are starting from the point O. Let us say you have reached Delhi. Right? If I say how much distance you have covered from the point where you have started, you will say I have covered a distance of 200 kilometer. But if I say that you have started from, let us say Rohtak is between your place and this Delhi. If I say that how much is the distance between Rohtak and Delhi, will your answer will be 200 kilometer? No. If its distance is, let us say 70 kilometer, then what you will say? You will say that the distance between Rohtak and Delhi is 70 kilometer. What I want to say is that whenever we are specifying the motion, what we require? We require a reference point. We require a reference point about which we have to describe the motion, and that point is the say reference point. So the reference point is the point with respect to which we describe the position of an object. So let me explain further. Let us say that we are having two axes. One axis is x-axis, y-axis. If I want to say that there is a point P, if I want to specify what is the position of the point P, you say that position of the point P from the point A, let us say its position is 4 meter, and if you say that what is its position with respect to the point P, you say that its position is the 3 meter. Then what A and B, they are the reference points, right? And if I say that the position of P with respect to the point where x-axis and y-axis they meet, that is given the name, that will be the say 5 meter, because 3 meter, this is right angle triangle, then hypotenuse, it will be the 5 meter. You will say that it is 5 meter. So this O is the reference point. O is the reference point, because to specify the point P, what I require? I require two coordinates, and they are 4 meter and 3 meter. 4 meter along x-axis, 4 meter along y-axis, and 3 meter along x-axis. So this is 3 meter and the say 4 meter. If you say that it is the 5 meter just from the O, but you have to specify at what angle. So again we require the two coordinate. One is angle and another one is the separation between point P and O. So what here O is called the point of reference, and here O is called the origin. And in the previous chapter we have done that there are three axes. If I add the concept of height here, that I am not able to show in this diagram, this line, that line is perpendicular to this, and how it is represented? It is represented by the main, by axis which is called the z axis. In actual practice, z axis is this. So what is the O? O is called the origin. So here O is the say reference point. And there is a term frame of reference. What is the meaning of the term frame of reference? Listen, this x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, set of axes with respect to which we measure the position of an object is called the say frame of the reference. So what is frame of reference? Frame of reference is a system of coordinate axes with respect to which position of an object is described. Is called frame of reference. That is called the say frame of reference. So that is called the say frame of the reference. Now this is the say frame of reference. So frame of reference is a set of coordinate axes with respect to which the position of an object is described. So that is given the name of the say frame of reference. Now this frame of reference is of two types. One is inertial frame and another one is inertial frame. And whenever we are talking about the inertial frame, what does it means? Inertial frame of reference. Inertial frame of reference is the frame of reference in which Newton's first law is obeyed. So it is the frame of reference in which Newton's first law is obeyed. First law of motion is obeyed. Or you can say the frame of reference, or you can say the frame of reference which is at rest or in uniform motion. that frame of reference is the say inertial frame of reference. And in inertial frame of reference, the force acting on the body, it must be zero. The force acting is the zero. Now let us say non-inertial frame of reference. What is the meaning of non-inertial frame of reference? Non-inertial frame of reference, non-inertial frame of reference. Non-inertial frame of reference is one in which Newton's first law is not obeyed. Newton's first law is not obeyed. In this case, acceleration is always non-zero and force acting is always non-zero. If I say that a frame of reference is moving with some acceleration, let us say there is a frame of reference which is rotating, because nothing in this universe is at rest. In this case of frame of reference, no force is acting on this frame of reference. Whereas in this case, frame of reference, what happens? Force is acting on the frame of reference. So there will be some acceleration in the frame of reference. For example, even if you say that a frame of reference which is describing circular motion, is it non-inertial or inertial? It is non-inertial, because whenever a body is moving along the circular path, there is some acceleration in the body. So that frame of reference will be the say non-inertial frame of reference. Next is motion in one dimension, two dimension, three dimension. What does it mean? You have also studies one dimensional, two dimensional, three dimensional, four dimensional. Nowadays we are having the 3D movies. Those 3D means three dimensional. So let us discuss motion. Next topic, motion of a body in, first of all, I will discuss one dimension. A body is moving in one dimension if it moves along a straight path. Let us say body is moving along a straight path, so its motion is one dimensional. Let us say this is the reference point. If I want to, let us say body is at point P, such that P is at a distance of 50 kilometer, then if you want to specify the position of P, you will say that it is 50 kilometer with respect to O. So such a motion is the one dimensional motion. For example, let us say there is a straight railway path. So when railway track, so when a train is moving, in that case its motion is one dimensional. Can you think of some other example of the one dimensional? Let me tell you. Let us say this is the vertical spring. Some load is connected to this. If I apply the force here, then I leave it, what will happen? It will describe one dimensional motion. That is its position at any time. It can be given from this reference point. Let us say it is at 5 meter, it is at 6 meter, it is at 7 meter, just with the help of one number. So that motion is the say one dimensional motion. Let us say a body which falls from some height, it moves in the straight path provided A resistance is 0. So what is this? This is the one-dimensional motion. So one-dimensional motion is the motion in which the position or the motion of an object, it can be described by one number only, by one coordinate only. So that motion is the one-dimensional motion. Second is the two-dimensional motion. Motion in two dimensions. Two-dimension motion in two dimensions. It represents the motion of a body in plane. Let us say we are playing the game of carom. These are the four holes. Let us say these are the carom coins and this is striker. Striker and carom coins, they are forced to remain in the plane of carom board. They will not fly. So such a motion is the two-dimensional. Let us say this is an ant, small ant. When it moves like here, there, but ant cannot fly. So again, its motion is the two-dimensional motion. Let us say a snake is crawling on the floor. Then its motion is the, say, two-dimensional motion. Can you give one more example of two-dimensional motion? Can you think? Yes, try to think. Motion of earth around sun. It is again a two-dimensional motion. Motion of earth around sun. Motion of even whatever the planets around sun. Motion of moon around earth. It is also a two-dimensional motion. And there is a game of snooker or the billiards. I think all of you know, where there are a large number of the balls there and there are some holes. Target is to move the specified balls in the holes. So what happens with the help of the sticks? What we do? We hit a particular ball and that ball it hits the other and the ball it finally reaches there. So what this is? This is the again a two-dimensional motion. Now let's move to three-dimensional motion. Three-dimensional motion. And if you say you are having a scale, simple wire, it is one-dimensional, very thin wire. If you are having this circle, rectangle, square, these are two-dimensional. And what about the three-dimensional? Motion in three dimensions. Motion in three dimensions, it means that body requires three coordinates to specify its position. So that motion is given the name of the three-dimensional motion. Let us say this is x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. There is a, let us say, kite is flying on a windy day. बहुत हवा चल रही है and a kite is flying. It will move here, there, there. So that motion is the three-dimensional motion. So motion of kite, K-I-T-E, kite on motion of a flying bee. Flying bee, it moves left, right, up, down. It moves here and there. Motion of air molecules, you don't know where the air molecules they will move. They can move anywhere else, up, down, left, right. So that motion is the say three-dimensional motion. So how can we define the three-dimensional motion? In the three-dimensional motion, minimum total three coordinates are required to specify the position of an object. Now, let's move quickly to other concepts. They are rest motion. We have done. Now, we are going to discuss distance, path length. You have studied in the grade 9 also. Whether you call distance or path length, meaning is the same. What is the distance? Distance, it is the length of actual path covered by a body. Covered by a body. So whatever is the length of the actual path that body is covering is called the distance. Let us say body is starting from point A. A is the reference point. After this, it reaches the point B. With the help of measuring tape, if I find its length, then its length is given the name of the distance. So what is the distance? Whatever the path you follow, you take its length, then that is given the name of the distance. Now remember, not few points you have to keep in your mind. Distance is a scalar quantity. It has no direction. And second point is its SI unit is meter. So its symbol is small m. And its CGS unit is centimeter. And what is relation between meter and centimeter? 1 centimeter is 10 to the power minus 2, or 1 meter is 100 centimeter. Both conveys the same meaning. Fourth point is, what is distance? Distance is the length. So can you tell me its dimensional formula? Its dimensional formula is L. The dimensional formula of the distance is L. Or you can also say that it is m0 L t to the power 0. So this is all about distance. And one more point is that distance is always positive. It can never be negative. Distance of a body, it can never be negative. It is a positive quantity. If you say that I have covered a distance of 10 meter, definitely that 10 meter is a positive. So note these important points. If you have not studied well in the grade 9 also, no need to worry. You can start from the here. This we have discussed in the grade 9. Now let me quickly move to another term that we have discussed in the grade 9. So that term was displacement. So I will tell you what is the displacement. Displacement, number 2, displacement. Simple definition we will tell. Displacement. What is displacement? Displacement, the change in position, the change in position of an object is called displacement. The change in the position of an object is called displacement. Formula for the displacement is, keep this formula in your mind, final position minus initial position. Now, a few points you have to keep in your mind. Note number 1, displacement is a vector quantity. Displacement is a vector quantity. Its direction is from initial position to final position. Its direction is from initial position to final position. Let me tell you, let us say body is here and after that it reached here. What will be displacement? Initial is A, displacement is from A to B, right? Number 2, second point is its SI unit is meter, represented by small m. Its SI unit is the say meter, right? And its CGS unit is centimeter, and relation is 1 centimeter is 10 to the power minus 2 meter, or I can say 1 meter is 100 centimeter. Both conveys the same meaning. So what that is the say, this is about the SI and CGS unit. And the fourth point is its dimension formula is m0, l0, t0, because it is again length. The separation between initial the change in position, it is again the length. So its dimension formula is m0, l, t0. Fifth point is that it can be positive, negative, or zero. Under what situations it can be positive, it can be negative, it can be zero. We will discuss in the numericals also. Right, so these are the points about the displacement. So let us do a question with the help of which you can understand the concept. Now, let's do the concept, important points. Numerical. Question is this. Let us say we are having this set of axes, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. What I am given, let us say I am given point A and this is the say point B. If the coordinates of point B are 1, 3, 4 and coordinates of point A are 5, 3, 7 and they all are in meter. Find the distance and displacement, and we say that this length is, let us say, 100 meter, right? So what is distance and what is displacement? So it's very simple. Distance is very simple to calculate. Distance is 100 meter. But what is displacement? Okay. What is position vector of A? Let us say R1. Let us say this point is O and this point is B. OB. This position vector is R1 and this position vector is R2. What is OA? Position vector of R1, how much is this? You will say, 5 is along x-axis, 3 is along y-axis, and that is 7 is along z-axis. So 5y plus 3j plus 7k. And what is OB? R2. This is I plus 3j plus 4k. Right? Now what is displacement? Change in position. And what is change in position? What is displacement here? What is initial position? Initial position is A. What is final position? B. Initial to final. That is, this AB. Direction is from A to B. This AB is the change in position. So what will be the AB? AB, final position. Final position is R2 and initial position is R1. And what is R2? R2 is I plus 3j plus 4k. And what is R1? 5i plus 3j plus 7k. I think all of you can solve this. So this will be minus 4i and again minus it would be cancelled. And here it is minus 3k. So this is the displacement. Direction is from A to B, you can say, or A to B, and direction, it also gives the direction. So we can say displacement is minus 4i cap minus 3k cap. And what is the magnitude of displacement? What will be its magnitude? Magnitude of displacement, it will be magnitude of AB. And I have told you that if we are having a position vector A as AX I cap, AY J cap, AZ K cap, what is the magnitude of A? AX square plus AY square plus AZ square. So what this is? Minus 4 square plus minus 3 square. Minus 4 square plus minus 3 square. What is minus 4 square? 16 plus 9 under root 25. So my answer is 5 meter. So my answer is the 5. So magnitude of displacement is 5 meter and its direction is from A to B. So that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.